Welcome to the Stuff and Things Podcast, your home for all stuff related to your favorite things in entertainment. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello everybody and welcome to a new episode of the Stuff and Things Podcast. I am Sam. Talking to me today about the wonderful world that is Ms. Marvel. It's my partner in crime, it's Stephan.
I'm back. I'm here. Hello.
And joining us to keep us sensible so we don't go as bad as we did when she wasn't here, returning once again, is Kayleigh.
Hi, back to the dream team.
We're quite glad you're back. We're glad you're back.
Yeah, the whole nightlight thing was disturbing.
Yeah, the less said about that, the better. Swiftly moving on.
Yeah, she's right. Move on. Okay, so this is Ms. Marvel, Season 1, Episode 4. And Stephan, the title of the episode was...
Seeing Red.
Seeing Red, okay.
Not to be mistaken by the new Disney Pixar film Turning Red. Very different things.
No. Although there are a lot of similarities in the stories, it would appear. First of all, we're going to do a little bit of a overall thing, thoughts on the episode. Kayleigh, I'm going to start with you. What are your overall thoughts on episode 4? Without going into specifics, how did you feel about this one?
Well, I'm not dancing and jumping around to the theme tune like I was last week.
No.
It was a little bit meh, but I enjoyed it and it had to happen.
Okay, that's a good summary. Stephan, your thoughts, good sir?
I mean, I purposely did a jig to the intro because you said last week that I never do. So, you know. Yeah, I listen. Even when I'm not on, I listen.
As you should.
I mean, there was no big, really obvious things in it, like the 10 rings this week to kind of get excited about. But I'm struggling. I think I messaged you. I am struggling a little bit. Episode 1 had me really, really excited, and I was like proper pumped on episode 1. And then every episode since then, I've kind of been like, something's just not quite getting me, or I'm not getting it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, up to this point, episode 4 for me, taking on from what you've both said, I kind of feel like, and I've seen this said a lot about Marvel shows on Disney Plus, that everyone feels they've got a pacing issue, and I've not really noticed it. I think a Falcon and the Winter Soldier I did a little bit. I felt that but then I understood that because they had to cut 2 whole episodes out and a whole story arc because of COVID. Mm-hmm. So I kind of understood that felt a bit disjointed. Most of the other shows, I think I've been so heavily invested in, perhaps that I've not noticed the pacing issue that other people have pointed out. On this one, like you, episode 1 grabbed me, caught my attention. I was very interested. I felt episode 2 was good. Episode 3 was good. In fact, episode 3, there was a lot in there. Speaking of a lot being in episode 3, and Stephan's just mentioned it, we did a podcast last week, me and you, Kayleigh, and we didn't point out the kind of massive Shang-Chi tie-in that was there. We completely missed it.
We did.
I think...
And watching it back, it was so obvious.
Yeah. I mean, I saw... Because I had it in my notes, but I was so not confident that I'd seen it and I was right. I thought, no, maybe not. And then I forgot to mention it completely. It was only after we recorded that I then started seeing these videos everywhere, people pointing it out, and I was like, crap.
We could have been up there as one of the first.
Yeah, never been my goal.
No.
But yeah, so that was a little bit gutting. But there was that reference in last week's episode, and they're obviously learning about the Jinn and learning about these people. Mm-hmm. Flash forward to this week, and this week's episode, I mean, obviously takes that further. But I don't know, there was just something about it in the episode that didn't connect. There was action, there was The same kind of sweet interactions with her family. But yeah, for me, something this week just didn't quite click. And I'm not, like, I literally cannot say to you what it is. That's why I'm saying maybe it is a pacing issue. I don't know. Something with this week's episode didn't click the same as the others. But diving into it and going into a bit, we do go to Karachi. It's her and her mother on the plane. The scene with the poor guy sat between them, by the way, I feel like that spoke to me on some sort of spiritual level of ever being sat between two people who are at odds with each other. That guy just like trying to be polite, like, hey, how are you? And then basically feeling the frost come over from the mother, giving daughter serious side eye.
Yeah, please don't talk to me. No, I'm not here anymore.
It's the way he lifts his paper back up, like basically that makes him invisible. Like, no one can see me, therefore I am invisible. Please, no one bring me into this conversation. I liked the recurring joke about her having a stuffed toy with her, which basically, I can't remember what she said now. What did she say it was?
It's
sleeping
a sleep pillow thing,
yeah.
That's the one.
But yes, we do get a change in location. It is centric to her this week without the other fun characters like Brian. Sorry, not Brian, Bruno. But so a question for you then. We know at the end of episode 3, Stefan, I'll start with you on this. I know at the end of episode 3, her nanny says about going to Karachi.
Yeah.
So this episode beginning with them going there makes perfect sense. We see the flight. We're following it. We're guessing a few days have gone by, and you know the flight, etc. And we see them there. Yeah. In this episode, we also see the group that were captured by the DODC.
Oh yeah.
Escape, and they're in Karachi within an hour.
Yeah. Well, it did seem to take about 3 days to drive from the airport to the house, by the fact it goes from middle of the night to perfect sunshine, middle of the day, in that one journey from airport to the house.
And to be honest with you, that didn't surprise me.
Maybe, okay, yeah. She references like, Nanny, it's middle of the night, why are you here? And then they literally drive for a bit at night, and then it's like, middle of the day. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, that didn't faze. I mean, them living that far out from the central city of the airport, that didn't faze me. But I did wonder about the way that they edited in the DODC escape with them arriving. You know, it was like one scene to the next scene.
And the fact that this group, this was something I kind of face-palmed a little bit of.
Yeah.
Big group of, like, clearly very talented warrior people that they've had to go and capture, and it took a lot of people to capture them. Yeah. It's okay, just leave them with 2 guards and have all of their weapons laying right by them, because, hey, nothing could go wrong there. I was like, come on.
It's the Austin Powers thing, isn't it? Yes, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm gonna leave you here in this cell with 2 inept guards.
Yeah.
Kayleigh, it may feel like I'm splitting hairs with this, but what did you think about
that? I did question it. But it's not real life. It's fine. We just ignore. We gloss over these things. Don't get in the weeds on it, Sam.
It's fine. They travelled by map like the Muppets used to do. That's what it is.
I used to love that.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, there was just like little things like that, which, to be honest with you, one of the things that the MCU I always feel does very, very well is create these unreal situations and unreal characters of unreal powers in a real setting. Mm-hmm. And so when there is stuff like that where you sort of think to yourself, well, do they have an ability to... Like, I question it. I go as far as like, well, do they have an ability to move around? Do they know something we don't know? You know, what powers do they have in their own? We can see that they're basically immortal, they're accomplished warriors, they have these weapons, but perhaps they also have the ability to teleport? I don't know. Or is this shopping trip in Karachi taking 4.5 days? I don't know. But
if they could teleport, why would they need to escape the prison if they just teleport themselves out of the DODC? Yeah,
you're not wrong. I'm just saying. I was trying to like wrap my head around it, and there's loads of like little simple things you can do, and you see it all the time in TV shows. You see it all the time in movies. If you want to just show that this is taking a few days, you just kind of do a very quick montage of, like they did with the car journey. The car journey arrived at the airport at night. In the journey, looking around, oh, it's daytime now. That time has passed. That it's been a good 6-7 hours has gone by in that 1 minute sequence.
Yep.
So there's ways you can do it, and in this we don't really. And I think it's possibly, like I said, the edit is literally them. They escape, they leave behind Kamala's boo, the guy that she's a bit sweet on.
Can we call him Boo number 2?
Boo 2, no.
Because apparently we have Boo 3 now, so
Yes. We she's getting a complicated love life, this one. And then the next scene they're there, which again, like I said, so.
And
focusing
also,
on
nothing was explained as to how they knew that she had gone there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, maybe they can track the bracelet, the bangle.
Maybe.
But they can feel, they can sense when it's being used and things, can't they?
Yeah, they did say that before in a previous episode, didn't they? In episode 3, that basically once she put it on and used it, they were drawn to it.
Ah, so they knew. Okay.
Do you think? Kayleigh, put this to you first. Do you think that perhaps, and I'm guilty of this, I went into this episode this week with a kind of, I really want to know more about her grandmother. I really want to know kind of like more about the Jinn side of things. I was kind of really hoping to take a deep dive into that. And I kind of had this head canon, if you like, this kind of thing in my head of like there being the other bangle. None of that was there really. And instead we had a explanation about this race of people and how they're not from like a multiverse. They're not from they're from a different dimension. And I don't know about you, but I mean, once I heard about they were cracking open the multiverse in the MCU, I was kind of a little bit worried along the lines of this could get complicated. Like this could really, a lot of people could like, oh no, I've gone cross-eyed with all of this. Mm-hmm. With the fact that they've introduced this, do you think that introducing also, whilst introducing a new character, a whole element of, and these creatures from a different dimension, which is different to, the multiverse? Well, what were your thoughts on it?
I didn't really think about it in too much detail, to be honest. It was, now it's completely spanned my brain. I just took it as, this is just another thing. Yeah. But it kind of makes, in this story, in this element of the phase, it makes sense. Yeah. I couldn't even begin to fathom how it's going to impact the rest of it. Like you say, it's going to make everyone go cross-eyed. But there will be, I'm sure, a really simple Marvel Ep4 explanation at some point.
You have such wonderful faith in Mr. Feige, I can tell. It's pure love there. Stephan, bringing you in on that point. I genuinely, and I'm a fan. I follow this in a level of detail, possibly beyond what a lot of people do, because we do the podcast, and I quite enjoy that kind of nerdy aspect of it. Mm-hmm. So if I'm looking at this going, wow, this is confusing. How are you with it?
I'm kind of the opposite of Kayleigh.
Okay.
I would have preferred, we've brought in the whole multiverse thing. That is there. So I probably would have preferred it if they'd have kept to, it's a multiverse thing, and that is their portal back to their multiverse universe.
Yeah.
Instead of now bringing in, so we've already got the multiverse, which, as you say, is just a complete head mess as it is. Because you're trying to work out there's variants and there's other dimensions, and from Doctor Strange we've seen beloved characters like Professor X and things like that. And now we have interdimensional stuff as well, and I'm just like, whoa, okay, that's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of where I went with it, because I don't know where, because like when we saw in the previous episode the blue arm, for example,
Yeah.
And like I said to Kayleigh on last week's point, you see a blue arm on the ground, and she's like, well, yeah, you think the Kree, you think of the races we've seen. And I'm kind of like thinking to myself, oh, this is great. You're going to tie all of this in to like, perhaps they're like an offshoot of this. Possibly you could tie this to the Eternals. We've seen a link to Shang-Chi. Perhaps the bangle's linked to the 10 rings. Maybe the other bangle was melted down into 10 rings.
Yeah.
You've got all of these theories, all of this stuff kind of like coming to the fore of what could be there. And then it's like, oh, actually, this is something else again. Yeah. So it's like, okay, so we know the 10 rings are from something in our universe because Wong in the after credit scene to Shang-Chi talked about it and how it's ancient and from far into deep space.
Yeah.
So that's not another dimension. Okay, so the link between the bangle and the rings, that's gone. Why they did that, I don't know, but it's now gone. It's like, okay, you're going to add something else in. And I know, for example, like my daughter is she loves Marvel stuff, all of it. She watched the MCU films during lockdown, basically, and rinsed through them, loved it. All of the Disney Plus shows she watches, enjoys them. And yet this show, which I think is aimed at her, she's lost all interest in it.
Ooh.
Which is kind of bizarre to me. You think 13, 14-year-old girl, this would literally be catnip for her. Yeah. And she's like, not interested. Like I said to her, like, oh, episode 4 is out. She's like, nah, I'm fine.
Wow.
Like, she never, like, literally, I get, when's the next episode? When's this? On every other thing that's come out. With this, she's got zero interest. So, I mean, it could just be... Sorry,
just on this this dimension thing.
Yeah.
Is it not in the same vein as the quantum realm, the astral plane, things like that? So within our Earth dimension, multiverse type thing, and it's something like that, perhaps. Maybe I'm.
No, that's actually. I mean, to be honest with you, that's excellent. That could well be what it is, and we could already be being introduced to that element already, because if you think about the fact that they are introducing via the series at the moment a more supernatural element to the MCU, so Moon Knight literally has introduced us to mummies. Mummies are real. We've seen them try and kill him. We know that there's a Halloween special which are basically going to introduce werewolves into the MCU.
Yeah.
So we know Blade is coming, so we know vampires exist. So these other kind of a way perhaps of explaining why we are this many years into the MCU, but at no point has someone gone, hey, by the way, vampires are real. It could well be explaining that we are going to get these kind of, I don't know, mergers, I guess, or things that happen that bring these other planes into alignment. I don't know. My like I said, my brain's gone a bit.
Yeah, I'm waiting
squiff.
for Ant-Man to come out before I even start the headache of quantum verses and stuff like that. I'm just gonna wait for Ant-Man and then I'll be confused by that one.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, smart. One of the things this show does really well, though, and I want to focus on that because I don't want to sound like I'm just berating it, because I'm not. I'm still enjoying it. I just found this episode a little bit kind of disjointed or something. I'm going to watch it again and maybe I'll enjoy it more, but one of the things I do really like about the show is the family interactions. Mm-hmm. There's something about it. I said, like, one of my friends years ago was from a Pakistani family, and I think perhaps it just reminds me so much of spending time with him, and because it's like they've nailed this. Like, for me, this is just every little interaction, conversation. The mother arriving and her mother basically immediately criticizing her on something, like, straight away. I was like, wow. Yeah, that feels real. But like, not in a horrible way either, but just in a kind of, if you're it's like you see the relationship regress. You've just had this flight in. The mother has been on at Kamala, on her. Then she sees her mother for the first time and just regresses to being Kamala, if you know what I mean, being the daughter, not the mother.
Yeah. Oh, your skin is so dry. Oh,
yeah.
Thanks,
something
Mom.
about her skin. Yeah. and we have like a comment later on about greasy hair or something like that. You know, it's just like, wow, oh, wow, this hits.
Yeah.
But I do like that. I do really like the family interactions because I think it grounds everything. And I also thought the interactions between Kamala and her grandmother were really lovely. Her grandmother thoroughly believes that she was saved by those stars that night at the train. Absolutely convinced of it, total conviction. And even though clearly that's got her shunned for many years, doesn't care. I like people like that. I respect people like that.
The conversation between the Nani and her mother, her mum and her mum, about the whole, the crazy woman that lived next door with her theories and stuff and all that. And it's like, but she stands by them, like she says them proudly. She's like, this is what I believe, this is what happened.
Yeah.
I don't care if people shun me for it. I'm telling you what happened.
Yeah. I've got a theory, by the way.
Oh, I like a theory.
You know how she talks about the night of partition at the train station, she's led back to her father by seeing the stars?
Yep.
I think Kamala does it.
I did think that by the end of the episode, that is my thought.
I think it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Kamala's going to be stood there waiting for it to... Oh my God, it's going to be a Harry Potter moment. Waiting for his dad to do the Patronus. He never turns up, so he does it himself and goes, oh, wait a minute. Kamala's going to be there waiting for someone for the stars. It doesn't happen. She panics that it's not going to happen, so she shoots the little things over to her. Yeah.
Mate, that is a seriously nerdy reference to make. Like, I mean,
my wife
I feel...
will be so proud, but I am so disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Harry Potter fans out there who will be loving you for that right now.
Yeah.
Do you know, I mentioned Harry Potter on a Star Wars podcast we did, where I basically said that Harry Potter's crap is just a Star Wars ripoff.
Yeah.
I said it as a joke. That's one of the only times on this podcast where I have got genuine hate mail.
Yeah,
I mean, not people making jokes. I mean, like, genuine, I will find you and I will hurt you for that comment kind of hate mail. I was like, oh, wow. That's not very Harry Potter of you.
You don't mess with the Potterhead, Sam. Come on.
Mate, no, you do not.
No.
Kayleigh, me and you have a mutual friend who's obsessed with Harry Potter. I wouldn't even say that joke to her. She would end me.
She would. She would.
No, I'd be game over. But
I have many jokes and comments that I won't make. This is not Harry Potter.
No, don't. You've got me in enough trouble with Lucasfilm at the moment without any other jokes about anyone else. So you stay quiet.
Fair point. Yeah.
He really has. Kayleigh, what do you think? I mean, because I just talked then about the family interactions and stuff. I think perhaps of the three of us here, you can speak a lot more to mother-daughter and then grandmother, mother-daughter. How do you feel it's being depicted? Do you feel like very seen in these moments?
Absolutely. And everything that, we've all said up until this point about the relationships and stuff, we needed to see that, everything that happened in this episode had to be done, had to be said. And just from the second that they arrived in the airport, you just got this sense of love and family. And, there was a comment that Nan made about, I've just come from a party, because it's late. That was 100% my Nan. She's 86 and she would sit on Boxing Day with me and the girls and 7 brandy. She is absolutely, she's like this. She's so funny, Nadine, when she's had a few. Hilarious. Anyway, and that's the kind of, persona that, that's what you want from a Nan, somebody who's fun and cuddly. But absolutely. The relationship between her mum and her grandmother. Yeah. That's what she's got now because, you are what you know. Yeah. And I think the Nan kind of is battling with the mother to be nicer because she can see that she's treating her the way that she treated the mother and she regrets it and, she wants to fix the relationship and you start to see that. And it's just nice, it's a couple. It's lovely.
What did you think of the cousins, by the way? Because you, like me and Stefan as well, I mean, I've got cousins and stuff who I literally grew up around and hung around with. And then you sort of have a load of time goes by, but then you sort of regress straight back into that as soon as you see them again. I couldn't make my mind up if I really liked them or if I thought they were just dicks. I can't make my mind up at all. What did you think of the cousins?
I think it's almost for them like they've never been apart. It's just like, hey, Kamala's fine. You know, we're going to go and do this. You're a teenager now. Yeah. You can take care of yourself. We've got our own stuff to do. Yep. We'll just see you later. You know, and it's.
I know.
That's again really true. You know, not see somebody for you.
It was the way she said about I want to go to the train station. He just looked there like, what?
Why? But again.
Yeah, like, okay, well, have a good time, bye.
Hey, do they live there? Are they from America?
No.
Do the cousins live in that, in Karachi? Yeah. Is it something that they're used to seeing? So, well, the train station's just there. We don't need to go and see it. You know, why are you going there?
See, I wasn't sure about that because you think they were using like that app map to try to go around and show her places, whereas
but I think that was because they were trying to do a tour. Like, so for example, one of my friends in America came over to Bristol and said, "Oh, would you take me around like the main sites of Bristol?" I was like, "Yeah, of course I will. I'd love to do that." They're like, "Oh, that'd be brilliant." And they're like rattling off these places, and I'm going, "What? Never heard of that. What are you on about?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, this is where like a statue of so and so is John Wesley, who set up the Wesleyan Church." And I'm like, "Dude, seriously? That's in Bristol?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's there." I'm like, "Oh wow, I've never." I like went full tourist mode in my home city. I'm like, "This place is great." So I was literally going, "See that up?" I was like, "See that up there? That's a bridge. Nice bridge, that." It's a Clifton Spencer Bridge, built by a bloke with a big hat. It's cracking, and they're going on about weird ass. Oh yeah. I know on Corn Street there's the Nails, which was the trading post, and I'm like going, "Yep, absolutely it is." I wish I'd had Google that day, is what I'm trying to say. But so
no, fair enough. Yeah.
But yeah, no, they are from Karachi. Now, that does bring us to quite naturally to the train station, the scene where she goes there and she's having a look around, and then a dagger slams into the wall next to her. Yes. I mean, that's not I mean, there was a sign there saying, like, don't go beyond this point. I did think to myself, wow, security in Pakistan are serious.
Yeah, do not cross this sign, please.
Yeah. or a bit like the old Indiana Jones stuff, like the minute you walk into a temple or something, you start seeing, like, darts get fired out of places. But she then has a kind of... again, now this could just be me, so Kayleigh, I'm going to bring you in on this to maybe put me in my place. She gets attacked, a knife is thrown at her. Now, if that knife had hit her, that would have ended her. So let's just be clear on that. That was thrown with such force, it stuck into the wall.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure he is going to claim, "Oh, I was meaning to hit the wall," whatever. They then have a fight. Now, I'm doing fight in air quotes here because basically it's a flirty fight, is what I'm going to call it, where they're talking, interacting, whilst fighting. So, Kayleigh, I'm going to bring you in. I find that just weird. I didn't... am I just being a grumpy old man?
No, I mean, it was fun. I don't think it was... His intent, I don't think, was to kill her. I think it was to capture her.
Yeah.
Because he obviously misidentified her as somebody else.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably, he wanted to be the captor of this, clandestine.
Yeah. Clandestine. I'm so glad you said that. I could not think of the word at all. I'm like been going like, oh, the group, that group of them, those people. My brain, I've been Googling. Sat here. Do you think I could find that word? Thank you so much, Kayleigh.
Yeah. So again, I think that scene, I think, was a really good way to show that actually her power, she's in more control, and they're developing and she's growing into them. So that was really important. Just going back to the train station and the bit that was closed, you may not have seen it, but there was a sign that said it's closed because they're trying to preserve this heritage site type. which
like
obviously in her mind, it's like that's where I need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And did you see the Ant-Man mural?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit freaked out by Ant-Man at the moment. Have you both seen this video thing that's doing the rounds? I think it's from the Marvel theme park, is it?
It's from
got like an
Paris, I
video.
believe. Yeah.
Where basically they've got all of the actors and everything all kitted up, and they've done like a video package for it. And Miss Marvel's part of it, which is why it's there. But basically they get Scott Lang, aka Ant-Man, to explain why he didn't shrink, go inside Thanos and blow him up from the inside.
It's amazing.
I'm still disturbed that they even discussed it.
It's been such a big fan theory. The fact that he's come out and like, let's address the elephant in the room here. Okay, like, I didn't do it because number one, that's gross.
Yeah, number one, that's so gross.
And number two, it's more difficult than that. Yeah, I just thought it was brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, still, there's such a gross thought. And if anyone watches The Boys on Amazon Prime TV, yeah.
No!
The thought of that happening to Thanos. Anyway,
Messy.
I need to shake that off.
Yep.
What she said. Anyway, I loved that side of that kind of what happens next. So the next bit is he takes it, and this felt very I don't know, old school Indiana Jones adventure, kind of walking through the restaurant and there's a secret passageway to a secret room, like a lair. Yep. I think she even jokes like, you know, your secret lair game is strong or something like that.
Yes.
And then we meet this guy who basically is the font of all knowledge. He is here to give us, as the audience, and to Kamala, as our point of view character, the lowdown on these beings, the Jinn who are chasing it, and who she is. What is interesting to me is they seem to allude to, but we never really got an answer because those idiots showed up. Are they basically followers of her grandmother? How did you read that? Because they seem to be of the opinion of like, this group are bad. However, your great-grandmother, they seem to be of the opinion that she wasn't. Like, that they were happy with her, the rest of them bad, and yet they were all originally part of one group. Was I reading that right, or have I misunderstood? Open question. Stephan, I'll start with you.
No, that is kind of where I got it from. Almost like these are her followers.
Yeah.
The fact they're like, how would we not understand who the ancestors of the great one, sort of thing? And it's like, okay.
Yeah, that was how I was taking it. Yeah. Kayleigh, did you take it that same way?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I couldn't have read it any other way. And I wonder, I just on a side note, devastated. I really bought into him as a character.
Oh yeah, and gone. Like
yeah. You know, he was another one. Instant. Really like him. Oh, that's that then. Well, but I wonder if there's some kind of in my brain somewhere there is a bit of a time travel element.
Well, the end of this
ticking away somewhere. I don't want to commit, but I wonder if they've had a premonition. They know who she is, and they can see the greater good, you know, and that's why they're those onwards, you know. Sorry. The greater good.
Yeah, you said the greater good, so I had to say it back. Greater good. Wow, could you imagine? I mean, in this episode, we do get the other dimensional creature aspect, which again was like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm keeping up. I'm doing okay. A little bit cross-eyed. Oh, time travel as well. Brilliant. Yeah, I'm gone. My brain's gone.
Yeah.
No, lost it. Yeah, no, it's gone. All we're going to need is for her to get into like the time travel element, have someone approach her and just be like, hey, I'm from the multiverse, and no, go away. No, you're done.
I'm the Miss Marvel from my universe.
Yeah. Yeah. What? And I've travelled back in time into your dimension. No, shut up now. I've
brought my best friend, Squirrel Girl. You haven't met her yet. And what we're going to do is,
Please never, ever bring Squirrel Girl.
Hey, it's a real thing. It's a real thing.
I know it's a real Marvel comic. And no, please. I can't.
Can you imagine American Chavez? Like, wait, so you've got Ant-Man, Spider-Man.
I know.
Black Widow, and now Squirrel Girl? Like, what is it?
Joe,
the animal family?
when I rewatched that film the other day, one of the things that made me laugh is something I missed the first time. Is I think it's Wong says we've got various heroes of the arachnid variety.
Yes.
It's like, fair enough. No, Squirrel Girl's not required. Please, no one. No, Kevin, if you're listening, mate, no, just leave that one. Unless it's a throwaway joke in Thor. I think in any Thor movie now with Taika in charge, you can get away with it. Yeah. Maybe Guardians. Please don't bring it in seriously. I don't think I could handle that. I think that might be me done. No, I've done. You've jumped the shark with a squirrel. Girl. Anyway. Oh, God. Mostly because I wouldn't be able to... The jokes would just be horrific. Squirrel Girl chasing her nuts. No. Yeah. I'd be cancelled in 30 seconds.
Kayleigh, sort him out. Come on, that's what you're here for. Kayleigh,
yeah, tell him off.
Rein him in.
No, she's too busy laughing. That's the problem. Yeah, she's already... She's got about 20 jokes in her mind right now going, well, I'm not saying any of them. Anyway, leaving Squirrel Girl rightly where it belongs, not anywhere near here. They do introduce this kind of organization then, which I'm hoping we will learn more about how they were founded, who they are, because in my mind, in my mind, this is something that perhaps the great grandmother has done. But one of the questions again, which is still unanswered at the moment, is where is that great grandmother? Because if she's the same as the others, she won't be dead. And if she set up this organization, surely she would be there. You know, she would be part of it.
Unless killed, I think is the only way, yeah.
Well, I did have the theory last week on the episode that perhaps the rest of the group did find her. She said, I sent the bangle away. You know, you don't deserve to go back. You'll destroy this world. So they killed her. I did have that theory because I did think to myself, we were looking for a death to give Ms. Marvel her...
Oh, you're so morbid. Oh my gosh. Wow, dude. Oh, seriously, to the death origin. Jeez.
You try and kill off that girl's dad again, me and you are going to fall out. That man is my hero. He didn't even appear this week. Still, love the guy.
Yep.
Absolute legend.
Yeah.
Mr. Khan and Bruno.
Dear.
So yeah, I'm not sure. I don't. There's like, it feels, because at the end of the episode, obviously we get this kind of fight. This group do arrive. They chase him through Karachi. By the way, I love Karachi. I think, I don't know whether it was actually filmed there or a set there. I might have to look that up. But I love the kind of the street scenes. I thought they were all really great.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, really.
Lovely.
And then we have this kind of chase sequence, which was bonkers but kind of fun. Kayleigh, you touched on it, and I think is a great demonstration. Actually, something I didn't pick up on, but she is using her powers now and has a greater degree of control. Her saving that young family by basically creating a ramp for that truck, and then letting it just slam into a whole load of shops with more people in was great. I mean, the truck going on this side. Mm-hmm. But genuinely, you see that she is using her powers more. The guy she's with, that she was, in my words, flirt fighting with. I mean, it's now a three guys now. Kamala, come on.
It's a square. It's no longer a triangle.
Yeah. 4 episodes. I mean, yeah. What's next week? I don't know, but I'm starting to feel even worse for Bruno, and he needs to move on. There's another lady right there, Bruno, was lovely. You know, I know she teased you about being called Brian, mate, but get over it. It'll be fine.
It was actually all filmed in Bangkok, Thailand.
Wow, okay.
Really?
It's funny because they do that a lot. Like, they basically take, I'm guessing it's the cost of filming and, like, the production, but I know, for example, in Moon Knight, it wasn't filmed in Egypt, like Cairo at all.
Yeah.
But they went to the nth degree to make it look like, to the point that they had extras there from Cairo going, yeah, I feel like I'm at home. This is crazy.
But surely it would just be cheaper to fly the extra 1,000 miles and just, you know.
Oh, it's not that. It's the cost of actually filming in a location. Yeah. So, like, for example, if you, let's say you set something in London and you want to do filming in London, they have to close roads, stuff like that. So you have to pay for all of that. I imagine, based on how busy Karachi looks, if you want to go filming in Karachi, they're going to go, yeah, absolutely, it's going to cost this.
Right, that dress cost 300 rupees. Now, God, can you imagine?
Yeah, no,
I want to notice, just quickly touch on that as well. So, she buys the red top.
Yeah.
And then she gets given the blue kind of waistcoaty thing.
Yes.
They're hinting at her costume from the comic books.
Yes.
They're giving us the hints.
It was a heavy hint, I feel.
I did also love the typical teenage mentality of, it's already been mentioned that I'm the only person in the entire city wearing jeans. But when I put this little mask over my eyes, nobody knows who I am.
To be fair, what's funny about that is I genuinely believe that would happen. I genuinely believe a person would actually not think that through enough.
Am I wearing a New Jersey AvengerCon t-shirt? Yes.
No.
However, I'm now wearing a mask.
No one can now see. I mean, they can still see my eyes because they're visible, but no one can see around my eyes.
My eyebrows are my biggest giveaway. No,
I am a new person. but like you just said, we laugh at that not because it's like, oh wow, they've made a mistake there, but because we're like, so a teenager genuinely would be like, now no one noticed, or like puts a scarf on. I'm a different person.
Yeah.
That was funny. But like I said, we had this big sort of chase scene, this kind of fights going on.
Yes.
We see this guy, by the way, he kills one of them. Did you all see that? I mean, I kind of like blink and you miss it, but there's like a scene where you see them all fighting it, but he actually 2 knives in the back almost, which was, I was kind of like, oh wow.
Yep.
Not just that they're not invincible, but like, okay, that teenage boy that she's kind of flirting with a lot has just straight up murdered someone. I realize that, bad guy and stuff, but no one gonna point that out. no one gonna bat an eyelid. Straight up murder in the street. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, I did see that and think, oh wow, okay. But the fight continues. She's using the Bangor powers, and the woman strikes the Bangle with obviously one of their weapons, and when she does that, everything lights up, and she's transported back in time.
Yeah.
Now, is she?
Well, this is the next thing I was going to come on. That Kayleigh beat me to it, or is she? Was literally the next words I was going to say, because we've seen her have these kind of visions, like something happens with a Bangle, her eyes, but on this occasion we're seeing her actually interact in the surroundings, if that makes sense, not just watch it. I kind of at this point hope she was sent back in time, because if she's not, then this group have basically got her stood there zoned out going, do we just kill her and take the Bangle? I mean, I don't know. What do we do? So I'm at this point
around this in a big circle, like
yeah. Well, I mean, what do we do? I mean, we could just cut her head off. I mean, cut her hand off, take the Bangle that way. I don't know. So I'm kind of hoping she has. But in this episode as well, when she met the guy who was like giving her the information, who then sadly died, he did mention a translation of the inscription. Mm-hmm. And it was also kind of interesting. He said, oh, in all of our records, there's no message, nothing told us that there was an inscription on this Bangle.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to wonder if perhaps there wasn't originally, and this has been added by her great-grandmother. Now, did either of you make a note of what that inscription was? The translation?
No.
I did. I did.
Hero. What was it?
What you seek is seeking you.
What you seek is seeking you. I mean, thank you for being super cryptic.
Well played, yep.
Do you think that's going to play a part in the sort of going back in time? What you seek is seeking you. What does she seek right now? She's seeking her great-grandmother, in essence. The answers, who am I? What is this? What is going on? Could it be that she's basically created this almost within the Bangle to take her back to be like, let's say, for example, my theory is correct and this group did kill her great-grandmother. Perhaps she's created in the Bangle a sort of loop which enables her to go back and actually have a conversation with her. you know, what you seek is actually seeking you, and her great grandmother has set this up to eventually have this conversation. Whether she knew it was going to be her daughter, her granddaughter, or her great granddaughter, she sort of had it in her mind that eventually one of them's going to put this bangle on.
Hundreds of years waiting. Will someone pick up the damn bangle?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean that was what came to my mind anyway. But again, it's who knows. This is Marvel.
I think there's some additional layers to it. You know,
Yeah.
I think yes, that's quite. Whilst we're saying it's cryptic, I think that's quite a black and white thing. You know, it's quite obvious. But when her nanny was talking, she was talking about the borders, her identity. Who am I?
Yeah.
I was born in India. Now I'm here.
Yeah.
And for Kamala, it's almost, you know, as a teenage girl, that's what you want. You want validation. You want approval. You want to find out who you are. So I think for her, that's going to kind of be the basis of her whole arc, really, is her, as we know, becoming Miss Marvel, but actually it's so much deeper than that. I think it's really clever. And I think you know, I could talk about that for hours, I'm sure, from a, you know, personal and a psychological view. It's very deep, you know, and I think that's what I took from it, you know.
See, this is why she's here. Look how much more highbrow we just went in that one sentence.
I know, right?
I do like that.
Quick, let's talk about Nightlight again.
No,
bad.
No.
We created the ultimate supervillain. Anyway, much better than bloody Squirrel Girl. Oh my God, Nightlight, Squirrel Girl's nemesis.
Stop.
Now we've got 2 episodes left, which again, this is where I come to with this much discussed pacing problem with Marvel stuff, which is, in 2 episodes, I feel like there's quite a lot to kind of wrap up. And there is a really heavy rumour that Captain Marvel has a cameo in the finale. I mean, like, heavy rumour to the point that people have basically almost confirmed it, because Ms. Marvel is in the Captain Marvel movie. So how in the hell would that happen if we're not going to get some sort of tie-in, some sort of link? Knowing that there is some sort of link which leads her to being a part of that, I mean, I don't know. I can't possibly put my finger on what that could be at the moment.
Yeah, looking at this right now, there is absolutely nothing that makes me go, apart from the fact that she is a Captain Marvel.
Yeah, a big fan, yeah.
Apart from that, there's nothing really that's happened that makes you go, yep, Carol Danvers is going to turn around and go, I want you in my team.
Do you know
no, she's put on her mask. Where has she gone? Who was I talking to?
Do you know what could potentially be the cheesiest, but probably the most likely scenario of how Captain Marvel ends up meeting Ms. Marvel? Is that she basically becomes the superhero. We have this origin for her in these episodes, and she decides her name will be Ms. Marvel, you know, in honor of Captain Marvel. That is what she's decided to be. And literally, the after credit will be Carol Danvers showing up going, "Do I know you? Why are you ripping off my gimmick?" You know?
Yeah.
Like, no, you don't know me, but I'm a big fan. That's probably...
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have... so this is really, really loose, like clutching at straws here.
I like it. Bring it on.
And I'm just literally going off of colours, right? So Kamala shoots blue.
Yeah.
Miss Marvel, there's a lot of blue. I think that second bangle, somewhere along the line, is what helped Carol Danvers get her power source. And it's the same kind of power.
Wasn't it the Tesseract?
In a different light. You know what I mean?
It was the Tesseract that gave her power, wasn't it?
But maybe they're all linked in some way, and that's how they're going to bring it
Don't tell me
together.
It's like another Infinity Stone from a different dimension.
I don't know. I'm just like I said,
Thanos would be pissed. He missed one.
It's a colour, you know.
Yeah, he had that lovely gauntlet. He could have had a bangle to go with it, idiot. Yeah.
He could have made a whole jewelry set.
Oh,
but I don't know, you know.
No, trust me. That fear is as good as anything right now. Yeah. Like the blue. Hey, they're bezies.
Blue, yeah.
I mean, or like literally, we're gonna get this scene with her great grandmother and be like, oh, you know, I've had loads of children that you don't know about, including the Danvers family. I'm sorry, say what? Yeah. So I'm related. I'm actually related to. You need to be really clear on this. Because I loved it in the beginning when she was like, I think Bruno says to her, like, oh, this is interesting. The power is actually coming from within you, not the bangle. The bangle is harnessing it. And she's like, oh, am I Asgardian? Yes. Am I related to Thor? That was just such a cute, amazing scene that you kind of now... I don't know, like when you're watching Spider-Man, Tom Holland, you're kind of like picturing yourself how much fun it would be for him to have a scene with Deadpool.
Yep.
I'm kind of feeling this way with her about all of them. Like all of the OG characters, like her to be in the room with Thor right now would just be hilarious.
Yep.
Her in the room with Captain Marvel would just be like over the top. Any of them, her interacting with them. It's just, I mean, I think that's just going to be pure joy, isn't it? Just like, it's going to be great.
There was a second reference to Thor, wasn't there? Because obviously she mentioned it at the beginning.
Yeah.
Waleed mentioned Thor, saying if Thor had landed in the Himalayas, he would have been labelled a Jinn too. So there is a bit of a recurring theme with Thor. You know,
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I had to watch that scene 3 times and I still didn't quite catch what you said.
No, that's what he said, yeah.
I'm so glad. You're right. The third time, I was just kind of like, yep, if someone had landed in the Himalayas, they were a Jinn. Perfect. Yep, that's fine.
Yeah. Basically saying in that realm of the world, if you had any sort of ability or anything, you would have been labelled a Jinn. Yeah. Whereas if he landed in, Norway, he was the god of thunder.
This is true, yeah.
And that's how it works. That's everything I've got. Do you guys have any other parts from this episode that you wanted to discuss?
I have one.
Okay, bring it.
What I feel was possibly the most pointless scene we have had yet.
Okay.
The random beach campfire ukulele session.
No, I like that.
What was the point of that scene? Like,
get him, Kayleigh. Tell him what
was the point of that scene. Like, it was a case of she was out the house, so therefore Mummy and Nani could talk to each other and they could have that little conversation, and then she could come back in and talk to her mum about toffee. And I'm like, she could have just been in the shower. She could have just gone for a nap. Why did she have to go to the beach with random strangers, eat a little bit of food and go, oh, is this spicy or not? I don't know. Okay, I'm going home now. Bye. I was like, what was the point of that?
There was a huge point.
Tell him, Kayleigh. You get him. You go. You go, girl.
The whole point, and this goes back to this whole identity thing. You know, she's found her people. She's accepted. They like her. There was no, oh, who's this new girl? Who's this new girl? And again, as a teenager, that's what you want. You want to be included and accepted and loved. And that for me was, I got that. I really did. That really hit me.
Yeah.
And the spicy food, oh, I'm really American. Is this food going to be wicked spicy?
Yeah.
And actually, no, it wasn't. It's fine. And, it's home.
Okay.
For her, like she's found her people. That's what I took from it. It wasn't pointless. It was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
In your face.
The only other thing I've got from the whole episode was during their little fight scene. Did you notice the fact she turns around and goes, "How did you know I wasn't Canadian?" Because Kamala, the lady who plays Kamala, was born in Pakistan and raised in Canada. So that was a fun little fun little bit.
Yeah.
In there.
I the thing I liked about that was because you're wearing a t-shirt with New Jersey on it.
Yeah.
Just like, you idiots.
Duh.
Despite your mask. Yeah. Ooh, I wonder who you are. Yeah. Kayleigh, were there any other bits that you liked or wanted to discuss from the episode that we've missed?
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of things which I didn't know. So in the market towards the beginning, those QR codes on the wall are real.
Oh,
didn't know that.
Done it again. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That takes you to the comic, which is great. And did you catch there was a couple of, again during the fight scene, the Ninja Turtle reference, Donkey Kong, and Come With Me If You Want to Live. I thought that was brilliant.
Well, the Come With Me If You Want to Live was brilliant because she looked at him and he went, "Oh, I just always wanted to say that."
Yeah, always wanted to say that. Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah.
And then the final thing, really, that it made me really emotional when the bangle was hit and she went back and she was with the train.
Yeah.
And there was a moment with a mother and a child who said, are we going to get on this train? She said, I hope so, because it's the last one.
Yeah.
For me, with everything, and this is really political and, not the point of the conversation, but everything that's going on, everyone trying to escape is so relevant. And it just, honestly, I did tear up very slightly, thinking, oh my God, it's just horrific.
Yeah.
How it landed and how that ended for me. And I went, oh, and it finished.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you kind of skirted around that a little bit. So I appreciate that, because if you think I had hate mail before, you wait. You mention politics on any podcast. Wow. Yeah, people are fun.
And the toffee boxes, the grandmother keeping those toffees for her daughter. Lush.
However, eating most of them. Yeah.
You need strong teeth. Yeah. Yeah, no. There was a lot. There was a lot in the episode. It was very nice, very cute. I will stand by the fact that I did find it odd. Like 1, 2, and 3 I've enjoyed, and 4 there was something about it didn't quite click for me. But and again, we've talked it the whole way through, and I still can't tell you what it was. Yeah. Because in all the little segments, I'm like, oh, that was good. That was good. That was clever. That was sweet. Yeah. But there was just something, maybe the edit. I don't know. Just something didn't quite click for me. We've got episodes 5 and 6 to come, and hopefully we're going to get a hell of a lot of answers in that.
I hope so. Yeah, I think I'm the same with you now. Like, I'm enjoying the tradition side of it. I'm enjoying all the family aspect, the culture side of it. I'm enjoying all of that and kind of seeing it all on the screen. But it just feels like there's just one thing missing. And I can't put my finger on what it is.
Okay. Kayleigh, you were about to say something, I think, before I interrupted you.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I think if this was, if they'd released all the episodes at once and I binged watched them in different groups, so 1 and 2 and 3, and 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4, I think it probably would have hit a bit better. It was a bit of a lull, but I think everything that came out and everything that we learned and what it set up for the next one, I've got high hopes.
High hopes. Well, fingers crossed your high hopes will be met. That is our show for this week. A massive thank you to everybody for tuning in and listening as always. I'm sorry I've not had the chance to read through any of the messages at all today. We've had loads. So thank you. I will try my best to do them all next week. If you've got more things to say, email in again and I will feel guilty and definitely reply to you all. And we will go through them on next week's show. Until then, Kayleigh, say goodbye to everybody.
Bye.
Stephan, always a pleasure, my friend. I'll speak to you next week.
That's a wrap.
Thank you for listening to the Stuff and Things podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can find us on Facebook or online. Simply search the Stuff and Things podcast to join in our conversation every week.